haven't experienced a huge flood event or a huge drought where I haven't been able to grow food for my family or something like that. But over time, through my education, so I've done 5 years of education in the environment now, and that's also the space that I work in with climate adaptation. That education has taken its toll on me. And so I spend a lot of time thinking about the environment, degradation, climate change. I spend a lot of time worrying about that. I have nights where I can't sleep worrying about that. I can't participate in normal conversations without internalizing and thinking about climate change. Well, I only live one street from the beach. And so I immediately think, well, I know this won't last forever. And I know that there'll be a day when this is all flooded and completely gone. So just everyday conversations goes to a much deeper level. And those are the things that I think about all of the time, which aren't apparent on the outside. And then there is also another knock-on impact from that, which is that I worry about whether I should start a family with my partner. I don't want to bring children into this world that are going to face severe impacts from climate change, that are going to be moved due to climate disasters like flooding, and face uncertainty with food security. I don't want to burden them with that, with the effects of climate change and how dramatic they will become. It's not about just having kids and hoping that more people start looking after the environment. It's not about that. It's about not burdening more people with, or putting more people at risk of the effects of climate change. I spend a lot of time thinking about that, and I've stayed awake a lot at night thinking about that. And it's a really hard decision to make. It is not something that I take lightly. I've started to see a therapist so that I can start to process or accept the feelings and the decisions around that and the thought processing. And it is helping. And yes, I have suffered with anxiety and depression in the past, so I know that I'm predisposed to that. But I think that we will have a lot of young people coming through our generations that will struggle with similar challenges. And I hope that they're able to access the support that's needed to process those thoughts. I think that one of the biggest barriers for accessing help with mental health is cost. Mental health is still kind of sitting at that kind of luxury end of healthcare. And if you're in the public system, it can take a really long time to get the help that you need. And by then, you're significantly facing more challenges the more time that goes on. So I would love to see more support or more mental health services or better funding for mental health services that can support, especially young people who are coming through school and coming through university now, that there's a big part of their education that focuses on climate change and the environment. And we have no support in place for them with mental health to help them process this really distressing, impending disaster. We're seeing those effects around the world now, and we are providing no support for young people with mental health to deal with that. And we will face the consequences of that in the future if we don't start to put those provisions in place now. What worries me the most is not having support in place for young people and access to mental health care to help building that resilience and preparing for the impacts of climate change. I'm especially worried about bringing young people into our societies, knowing that our situation is going to get worse, that the impacts of climate change are going to get worse. When you really know what the impacts of climate change are and will be, how can you have any hope when you don't see governments prioritizing climate action?